Hey, Charles, do you reckon they'll ever do a top model for men?
Well, I think it'd be a good idea. I mean, we've got some pretty hot blokes here in Oz, right?
Oh, do tell. Any come to mind?
Well, Dan McPherson, he's a hottie.
He's so short.
Well, what about Chris Smith? He ain't short and he is smoky.
Oh, the pommy with that accent, please.
Oh, come on, what have you got there? Who's that?
Oh, bit embarrassing, but photo of me with my shirt off, my modelling days.
If that's really you, that's many years ago, right? Yeah? A lot slimmer and a lot younger, but...
Charles, I'm going to cut to the chase. Does anyone else come to mind?
Well, after seeing that, I get it.
Finally, thank you.
Definitely. Tom Williams.
Welcome to Big J's Place. I'm your host, Jason Stevens. We have a big show today. Who loves Australia's Next Top Model? Yeah? Loved watching it. I'm so glad Kelsey won. Or was it Amanda? I'm just so confused. Well, we have the glamorous Charlotte Dawson here. How good's that? Well, our first guest became well known for hosting The Contender and Australia's Top Model. It's a series that I love and secretly would like to be on. Please welcome Charlotte Dawson.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Charlotte, I've got to say, you look amazing. Doesn't she look amazing? She looks so...
Thank you. I've paid the hair and makeup people thousands of dollars before I came on this morning, you know. I've been up since 5. They've gone on stress leave.
They did spend a couple of hours, but that's all right. It was worth it because you look great. Now, I want to talk Top Model because I've watched every series, but this one in particular I just loved. I love those two girls, Amanda and Kelsey, and they look like great girls.
They are. I mean, they're brilliant. We had you know, what we wanted to do this year was make sure that we brought it back to, rather than the sort of conflict and what you get when you get a whole bunch of young girls, or anyone in particular, you know, with The Contender, a whole bunch of people living together and annoying each other on long days on set. Rather than focus on that, bring it back to fashion, try and find the best possible models we could find, and these girls were just brilliant.
Do you think they've got what it takes to go international, some of them, or...?
A lot of them. I mean, this year we've had the biggest signing to agencies than we have of any cast of girls. I mean, in previous years there's been a lot of controversy, you know, who didn't flush the toilet, or, you know, scrag and you're this and you're that, and the audience sort of kind of loves all that sort of stuff. But we thought, no, let's really bring it back, and if we bring it back into fashion, then we've got the support of Harper's Bazaar. And imagine it's you know, for the cover of Harper's Bazaar, what turned out to be 2 covers of Harper's.
It's amazing.
It's incredible,
it
right?
Is.
So it's good for the credibility of the topic of the show, even though we do love all the scrag fights. I think to bring it back to the modelling thing. I mean, let's face it, people don't watch Top Model because they're thinking, I really need to learn, you know, it's not like MasterChef, I need to learn, you know, how to whip up a cake. Oh, I really must learn how to walk down a catwalk like this and pose. You know, that's not what it's for. It's purely for entertainment and a look behind the scenes of what sometimes can be a really tough business.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, I mean, what kind of advice do you give the girls to prepare them? Because, you know, they go from pretty much unknowns into a place of notoriety.
And they're absolutely... It's terrifying for me. I'm in my mid-40s, and it's terrifying for me now when I mentor these girls that come out of the house, and that's because we have nothing really to do with them, because we don't want to get attached to them in any other way but as models. So we don't talk to them at elimination, except when we're on camera, when we're doing challenges, we have nothing to do with them. But when we're, you know, drumming up publicity for the show, and after the show, obviously we do a lot of events together, I get to know the girls and become terribly fond of them, you know, and they're all young enough to be my daughter, so I feel very protective. So the first mentoring stage I think I do with them is to make sure, you know, don't do this, don't do that, partying, you know, been seen here, been seen there, just, you know, just do that. I guess I've just turned into a mum.
I had to have a laugh because Cheyenne Tozzie's a good friend of mine, and she was on a couple of the episodes, and I laughed so hard when there was one of the girls was having trouble with her bikini, and she started crying and bawling, and Cheyenne said...
Now, this is the girl that worked at Hooters, remember?
This is the girl that worked at Hooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And Cheyenne said, there are some things in this world you cry about. Putting on a swimsuit is not one of them. And I just thought, it was good. It was indicative of the show because you don't really allow for the divas.
No, but it was one of the greatest quotes ever that we keep using. It's not a crying problem. There are things to... I remember exactly what she said because we thought it was one of the most genius quotes ever. Yeah. You know, there are things in this world that really are a crying problem. This is not a crying problem. So we quote her a lot.
Now, speaking of crying problems, can I bring up the issue of men? And
Yeah.
not delve
what a
into the
crime.
past, but the future, because I read this quote, I had to laugh. You said, I want a guy with hairy arms, a hairy chest, and someone who burps. I just like men. Did you say that? Did you say that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd really prefer a real bloke than, you know, that someone, you know, that would maybe burp or rip out a fart or whatever. I mean, then someone that's going to walk in and say, Dale, we run out of spray tan and hair product. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm old school. I'm old school.
I so wish you were a judge on Dancing with the Stars, because I was on this year, and I really believe they held it against me for stuff like this. Have a look.
Can you not do that?
Yeah.
It's really gross. Jason pretty much has grown up in a football locker room. He's a clown. I believe in karma.
She accidentally need me in the Jats crackers.
That's for the burping.
See, that's a real blow. That's a real blow.
I would have got 8s and 9s instead of 3s and 2s like I got from those judges, those awful, awful judges.
Yeah, well, if it was going to be Australia's next top boyfriend for poor old, tired old Charlotte, then, you know, maybe he would have been right up there. Who knows?
Well, look, Charlotte, we aim to please on Big J's Place. If it's a hairy-chested guy you want, let me tell you, it's a hairy-chested guy you are going to get. Please welcome my great friend, George Havadas. There you go.
Don't squeeze too hard, but...
What do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't put a microphone anywhere, but...
That's a body.
Well, can you rip out a burp?
Everybody thank Charlotte Dawson and the hairy George Havadas for Grey Sports. There's plenty still to come. You're watching Big J's Place.